Hey everyone, welcome to a special video from Dark Rhino Security. I'm Rory Meikle, an account executive here.
And I'm Chris Cazel, a security engineer at Dark Rhino.
Chris and I have been planning the idea for this video for a while. We wanted to take you through our defense in-depth offering layer by layer so you're able to really understand what it is that we bring to your organization and to the marketplace.
So what we did for this one, basically, defense in depth is kind of a difficult solution to explain to somebody without a lot of know-how in the security world. So we put together a nice metaphor to compare the defense in depth offering with a medieval kingdom. So hopefully this will help piece the picture together.
Before we get into it, let me take you through what defense in depth is here at Dark Rhino Security. What we have built is an interdependent yet complementary cybersecurity offering. We've brought on 11 technology partners who each bring a unique and necessary security function to your organization. Dark Rhino believes that with these technologies, plus our team of security professionals, we can reduce an organization's overall security risk down to the point we feel confident insuring against it. What we have been able to create is the only service on the market that offers security controls backed by a cash guarantee. And now, Chris and I will take you through the 11 layers. So before you, you'll see a beautiful castle on a rolling green hill. The castle has some little houses there at the foothill below it. You can think of this scenario as your company, with the castle being your main office or corporate headquarters, and the little houses being either other branches or work from home users.
Yep.
Next thing that we add to our castle is an interior wall with a gate around it to protect the immediate castle and those inside.
Yeah, so this would be in traditional IT, something like a network firewall. Obviously, it doesn't extend to the homes at the base of the hill. This is just securing like your corporate office, your internal assets, but an invaluable layer, no doubt.
The next layer that we're going to add is a outer wall. This wall, as you can see, now encompasses the homes on the hill as well as the internal wall and the castle itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So in the defense in-depth approach, we would refer this as identity access management. So the first acronym of the day. This controls, just like in the kingdom, who can come in and out. The guards at the front are validating whoever's coming through the gates. Just kind of the critical layer. It's the identity layer. So it's controlling your identity when you enter a corporate network, and even interface with systems that are outside your main office, like Rory said, the castle on the hill. The homes at the foothills are still governed by a control here.
The next layer that we're going to add is armed guards. These guards are going to be both on the exterior wall as well as the interior wall, protecting all of our townspeople and the castle itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we would equate this to something like antivirus in a traditional IT. So as Roy mentioned, it's all encompassing really, that whether you're a remote user, you're still protected by the guards here, or you have systems in the internal network, antivirus is still applied in that case. So kind of a basic one, but still an important layer here.
So the next layer that we're adding is some knights, and these knights have a similar role to the guard. However, they're a little bit more agile, and they're able to go in and out of all the gates and walls that are in the castle. So they can take care of threats that are happening within the little homes in the kingdom, as well as issues that arise inside the castle, as well as they're able to go outside of the outer wall and take care of things that may be happening, threats that are coming in that they're able to see before they even get to the first wall or the castle wall.
Yeah, so as Roy mentioned, the knights are a bit more specialized than the archers on the wall would be. The archers on the walls might only have one specific purpose, which is to prevent bad things from coming in, or in IT, that would be like preventing a user from installing a malicious program. The knights are used by Dark Rhino in an MDR sense. So MDR is managed detection response. We use the knights to specifically go into workstations or servers and remediate threats. They're a bit more free thinking than the archers might be, who are just set up there to defend the kingdom. And knights can enter the buildings and take action, whereas whereas the archers can't. So another layer here, another critical layer.
So the next layer that's going to be in your kingdom is a trading post where all your goods and services are available for people to work on, to sell, to collaborate, and to create.
Yep. And this, not a layer just yet, but this would be something like your content collaboration platform, your file shares, that sort of thing. Uh, think of this as maybe SharePoint to OneDrive or Google Drive or Dropbox, something like that. A place where files come from an external source to an internal source and are basically used in your day-to-day functions as a business.
Then the next layer we're going to add is obviously some guards who overwatch this place. They make sure everything is all good and well, and that no one is trying to take advantage of your townspeople who are just there to do work and have fun with each other.
Yeah. So those shady characters are being harassed by the guards there. So the layer we would use to equate to this would be something like CASB or data loss prevention. Um, if you're familiar with these, it basically governs what users can and can't do in a cloud service. And in our purposes, it's used to moderate and control what users can upload and download and share from like content collaboration. So, say somebody wants to share a document from G Suite from Google Drive that contains IP or sensitive client data, something like that. These knights here would enforce that sort of policy, so it would block us or alert us on what's occurring there.
The next piece of our kingdom is going to be the blacksmith. As back in the day, the blacksmith was very important when it comes to arming the knights, keeping them up to date with their weapons, their gear, as well as the townspeople, making tools for them, keeping their houses secure with metal fixings and fastenings, as well as the castle. He serves an all encompassing role.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So in the layers that make up this are actually twofold. It's asset intelligence and patch management. So similarly to how the blacksmith would outfit your guards and knights with weaponry and shields and whatnot, um, patch management keeps your systems up to date and protected against the latest threats. So kind of a good one-to-one there. Furthermore, a medieval blacksmith would probably have a good lay of the land for the jobs and homes and assets of the kingdom that they need to maintain. We use asset intelligence in a similar way, where analysts keep an eye on it and are able to determine when new devices join a network. They're able to use asset intelligence logs to basically determine if somebody unique is accessing a network. So our analysts use this as it's an important layer in that capacity too.
Next piece of the kingdom is your friendly wizard. Every good castle kingdom had a wizard, and ours is no exception, just as yours is no exception. So our wizard here is all knowing, all seeing. He's able to monitor all the movement going on in the kingdom. He knows what people are up to, and he's able to take all the information from the different people in the kingdom, the blacksmith, the castle, the trading post, and look at it all together under a single pane of glass, if you will.
Yep. So our equivalents here would be the sim. So as Rory said, the wizard is all knowing, so is the sim. We basically funnel all logs across the entire infrastructure or kingdom in this case into the sim, and basically that information is passed off to the knights to go and act on it. So basically another one-to-one from the wizard to a sim here.
And the SIM stands for Security Information and Event Monitoring.
Yeah.
Correct, Chris?
Yeah.
I didn't know that for the longest time.
I actually think it's event management.
Event management. There we go.
Yeah.
There is something in cyber is all these freaking acronyms, and you learn a new one every day.
And I don't know if it's manager or management, but I guess it's not really important.
You can decide if your sim is going to be the manager or management.
Yeah. We'll give you that flexibility there.
All right, next piece of the kingdom is the kingdom's magical hourglass, which everybody knows this story.
Mhm.
The kingdom has a magical hourglass that allows them to turn back time when something terrible happens. So you might think that this is part of the wizard, but it's not. This is something completely on its own. And we have an equivalent to this in the tech world as well.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a technology that functions similarly to the hourglass, which rewinds time. It rewinds ransomware. If your systems are ever affected by something like that, God forbid, we're able to essentially reverse it through a technical process, but it fulfills a similar role. It'll rewind time on the server.
Our next layer is going to be this little nobleman standing up on the castle, who is obviously the king's right hand man or the king's messenger. I'm sure there's a better technical term for what this dude's actual role was, but we're going to just call him the king's right hand man. And what he does is reads all the mail, letters, and vets all the visitors who are coming to see the king, who want to talk with him and tell him stuff. And his job is to make sure that everyone who's coming has legitimate business, that they're not coming to poison the king or kill him, and that they are supposed to be there and are work related.
Yeah. So this would be phishing protection in the IT world. The same way the king's hand vets the communication that gets to the king, phishing protection vets the messages coming in to your employees and determines whether they're malicious or not. So basically, another good equivalence here. It's a good one to one.
The next part of the kingdom is the safe of gold that is down in the keep. This is going to be, where all the riches and the rewards have been stored from all the conquests that the king has gone on with his soldiers and knights, and he keeps all that stuff down in the bottom of the castle under lock and key.
Yep. Yeah. So another similar mechanism is in place in defense in depth, where your company's internal assets or IP, like we mentioned, is all stored in an encrypted state. So if somebody was able to rob the kingdom and get this chest out of there and get past the other layers, they would be in a situation where they can't open it because they don't have the magic key that the wizard enchanted. So something we have a similar technology in place here, where even if worst case scenario data is exfiltrated from an environment, it's extremely difficult, next to impossible, to decrypt any of this information.
The last part to our kingdom is going to be our dragon. And unlike other kingdoms where the dragon would harass the townspeople, this is actually a cool dragon who works with the king and is a part of the kingdom to protect the castle, the townspeople, the knights. He is kind of their overwatch, if you will.
Yeah, he is. He's a nice dragon. So we have a lot of automation built into the defense in depth approach, but the dragon kind of represents the human element, even though it's a dragon. The human element is a key piece of this, because although a lot of rules and policies are built into our system and enforced automatically, we are firm believers in the fact that you need somebody who's intimately aware of how an environment looks day to day. These would be our threat hunters, basically, and they're individuals who, as I said, are aware of what goes on the day to day in the network and are proactive in their analysis. So rather than somebody just staring at a computer screen waiting for events to hit and alerts to fire, this sort of person is manually going through and basically heuristically examining what's occurring to try and find, a security event.
So we hope that you enjoy this kind of goofy overview of defense in depth and that it's easy to relate. I think one of the biggest problems in cybersecurity and cyber in general is that it's so, one, boring, and two, if you don't really know it, then you have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Chris and I wanted to make this video just to give people a way to easily understand what these different technologies do and the function that they serve in the modern world.
Yeah, and it's actually a nice metaphor, because even if somebody does manage to get past the outer wall of a kingdom, there's knights and a giant dragon and a wizard guy there to stop you from getting the magic chest. So that defense in depth function similarly, where the layers are independent, like Rory said, but they back each other up in a sense. So it's a nice solution in that.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to DRS, check out Security Confidential, where Dark Rhino brings on the coolest and most unique individuals in the cyber world. We pick their brain about what they're up to, what their career was like, and what's next up and coming in the cyber realm, as well as the realm of their company or organization.
Yeah. Thank you very much.